Just fooling around here today with this car that I built. Oh. Yeah. Finally came off. Clean the tires a little. This is that new mod I built, the 132nd. Anybody's watching? If not, you can watch it later on the video. Whoa. I think I need to clean my track. Oh, not bad. Man, this car hangs on pretty good. I get the numbers and everything on it, it'll look better. Anybody just joined on, I'm just testing out my 132nd mod build that I did on today's video. Again, I'm just running it through the trials and seems to be doing pretty good. Only deslotted maybe about twice this whole time, maybe 3 times. But I have it set at 10 volts. That's why I'm running the car. Usually I run the scratch build cars at 10 volts. You can't increase the power supply to 12 and it'll go a little faster, but 10 is really about average speed you should have. But see how that self-corrected itself? That's pretty cool. It's getting more gas and it's straightened out. And more power. This is a rail job chassis that Harry's name. It's after his block design. Just a little bit different I did on the guide than he did, but as always when you build these, you can try a few new things yourself to make them work good. Whoa. Oh man. Bing. Bing. Go. Anybody's watching, I see two around here. I'm just testing out my mod build that I did in my last video, just running the car through its paces. I haven't gotten the decals on it yet and cleared it, so the body is just basically just the base coat on it, or paint coat. I'm just fooling around here. Anything's gonna go wrong, it'll happen now, and I'll fix it, but I'm just fiddling around with it. I think I need to clean my track a little. Oh, turned up there. This is a webcam I have mounted up to my TV on the top there. And it gets a big wide angle view of the whole track so you can see the car going around. Oh, a little bit too much there. Oh, I see a smiley face there. I haven't been looking at the comments. Thank you for the smiley face. Slot car racing, cool. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I enjoy, sharing what I can and seeing everybody else's stuff. I think it's really cool. That's what I like about the hobby. There's so many things that people do and so many different ways they do it. That's what makes it so nice to be able to, maybe copy somebody's work that works a little better. That went a little bit too much. This car is it's a 3D molded or a 3D printed car from 3D Slot Cars on eBay. Harry did a review on it on the trucks. And then I got a mod one that I told him I'd build one. So I'm going to send this car to Home Racing World when it's done. When I get the decals that I got on order. And it kind of looks like the Joker mobile. Somebody did mention that because of the purple and green, but I mainly made it for the alien type colors. But I guess you could call it a Joker mobile if you wanted to. Those are the colors. I could have put a Joker on there, but I'm going to put the 51 on there and some alien tags and stuff like that. But car turned out real good. You guys could build this rail job chassis with the Slotting Plus guide and a Piranha motor and 927 gear. Crown gear. Yeah, it's a pretty fun car. And of course, I'm racing on my Carrera track, and my Carrera track is, there it goes again. My Carrera track is a digital and analog hybrid. So I know basically what I have is a lane chipping system on this track. So that's why I'm able to run analog, and then I can flip the switches and run on digital and keep my digital stuff. Because I have so much money invested in digital. That's why I've kept the digital setup. I thought about going to wood track, but Harry convinced me to leave it the way it is because it's unique. So maybe one day if we get a bigger house, I would make an additional wood track next to this one. But for now, it serves my purpose, and it's nice because my grandkids can come over and I flip it to digital and they can run around. As you've seen the video that I put recently, and my grandkids playing with the digital system with 6 cars and 2 of them running, and there's 4 ghost cars. They get a big kick out of it. And there goes that one just finally flipped over. And like I said when we were talking on live feed with Dave on the chatting about, I'd say about 75% of kids don't know what a slot car is, and at least my grandsons know because they know I do this hobby, and they enjoy playing on the track when they feel like it. So it's not like they have to play on it every day. When they get the mood, they do it and have fun with the track. I got it for myself because it's the hobby that I enjoy. But it is what it is. But again, I know we talked about how the digital chip shortage is pretty much here, and how even with digital, that it makes you crying because of this shortages. But there's always scratch building, and that's the best thing. Oh, thank you, Jersey Mike. I appreciate that. Those videos do take time, man, to put together. When you get a program, mine's is Movavi is what it's called, and I used to use one called Vegas because I used to do other videos as well for like family and events and put music in it, just for personal purposes. I never did it for business. But with the ones that I've been creating, Jersey Mike, it takes time. So when you break down, the videos and put little things in it, like I do, the little aliens, the little gifts, that takes a lot of time. Well, on average, if I do a movie or an instructional, some type of thing, it'll take me about an hour to an hour and a half to put together, depending how difficult it is or how much pieces I have in it. But I'm still experimenting with the program, so I try and get better as best I can. And I know with the SummerSlam coming up, I'm going to make some good videos for Harry to help him out when I'm there, and make it more enjoyable for the viewers who enter their cars, so they can see more of their car, doing stuff. And I can take care of that and help Harry out this coming July, and I look forward to going to that. But yeah, again, I'm just farting around here. I'm gonna have to make dinner soon, so won't be on too long. I got some steaks ready to grill, and I'm already a half hour over that I said I'd be out there to cook them. So, but just running the car through the trials that I just built. I know I did a video on it. It wasn't. It was a 3-part video. I got 1 part to do with the completed car, but I want to wait till I get all the decals. And any of you guys can build this chassis with these parts and this body. So all the parts are available. So you can get. Yeah, I'd like you to do that, Jersey Mike. I've had a few guys talk to me. 2 of them that are building that are entering the cars for the showdown. I encourage you to do that, Jersey Mike. If you want help, I know I've put my email out there, and then you can reach me through the Area 51 Raceway NC Facebook page. I usually talk with some people in there when they have questions and stuff, point you in the right direction of parts and what you need and kind of what to expect. And like I always said, I'm not an expert, but I do what I do because it's my way. But yeah, I'd love to help you with, give you advice on that if you have any. And also, Harry's videos are just as I think they're better than mine because I still don't have my camera stuff exactly positioned how I want it, because I still need to get a tripod and I need to get another light, and I'm not trying to spend too much money because I already invested in the laptop and the DJI pocket camera that you see over there, and it costs money, so I don't want to just go crazy. But whenever you're ready, Jersey Mike, feel free to message me. I'll help you out, man. I'd like to see you enter a beach racer. And when you do a 125th scale, it's no different than a 132nd. A 132nd is just a smaller version of the 125th scale chassis. So if you were to build this chassis like on this car, all you would do is make it a little bigger for the body that you're making it for. Not too hard. Let's see, I've only done white kits up to now. I haven't taken the leap into scratch building. Maybe one day. You know what, man? Honestly, if you want to build a simple chassis, look up Harry's video on what's called the Stinker chassis. That's the very first one that I did and the very first one that I entered. Uh, Thank you, Jersey Mike. I would try that out and just take your time. I mean, you will need to invest tools in order to build things because, I mean, that happens. Once you start getting into a hobby, you start investing. Just like on an automobile, I have a 2004 GTO that's modified in there. And I remember when I started on it, when it was stock, and in all the tools that I've invested on working on LS engines and just that car in general for when I was in a club in California. And, you just have to buy certain things with this with scratch building. You could get stuff from yeah, no problem, man. And if you need help also, man, please come to me or message me. I like to get everybody into the art of building scratch build cars. And again, there are so many articles on Home Racing World about the stuff that was done before all the parts availability that they have now. I mean, Stock Car Corner is really a big provider of scratch build stuff. And they do have a certain salt sections and things. That's where I get all my stuff. I'm not saying that's the only place. There is Professor Motor. I don't go to Professor Motor too much. There's only maybe one or two things that I'll get from there that Stock Car Corner doesn't have. Or sometimes I'll go on eBay and go Mid America Racing, and there's some things that they have there that maybe Stock Car Corner doesn't have. But Stock Car Corner to me has everything you need as far as to scratch build. Even if you want pieces of brass, it's all there. You could even go to Hobby Link. Hobby Link is another one. That place has a lot of brass and a lot of like Plastistrut, which is I use to mount the bodies onto the car, or you can even use pieces of wood. Harry's done a lot of things that are really inexpensive to keep you in the budget mind. So I mean, you could start out small and then just work your way up. All I can tell you is that over time you will have to get more tools. The most important tools for scratch building is a Dremel, and you can get the battery operated Dremel. That's fine. The rechargeable one, the Dremel Lite, it's called. It comes with cutting wheels and what you need. I would invest in soldering iron, and you don't need a real high-powered soldering iron. Just get that Weller one that I think I've talked about on the video that I did. I may have not, but Harry's talked about it. It's a Weller iron. It's like a 30-watt iron. That's good enough as long as the tip is the wide tip and not the pointy tip, because the wide tip will distribute the heat evenly and more across the larger area of the brass. If you use a pointy one, that's like doing a circuit board. You're not going to really do anything to solder. That's going to make it more of a harder thing to do. So solder, flux, that little soldering, basically what that little board is that you put pins, that's a jeweler's board. Stock Car Corner does have it. It's the same price as Amazon. The Stock Car Corner has the right size you need, and they have those little pins, or you could use brad nails. I forget the size of the brad nails that you could put in there at the hardware store. I don't remember the size, but you could use brad nails, and Harry's mentioned that. If you get those small items, that's a good way to start. That's a good place to start, and then from there you go on to, when you need other parts. The orange 40-watt one. Yep, yeah, that's it. It's on Amazon. It's cheap, and you don't need. Honestly, I got an iron that I probably shouldn't have got because. That's my dog barking. That's because the iron that I got is mainly for building drag racing chassis where you melt silver. And those guys use silver. Those are the commercial guys because those cars get launched super fast and then they hit a pillar. I don't know what they hit at the end of it. But I got an overkill one. But that Weller one, that's the best one to get, really. That's the perfect one to get for that Jersey Mike mentioned, a 40-watt one. That's good enough. As long as the tip is wide and not the pointy tip, you're good. It's really not much you need. And the thing is, you have to take your time on the first one. But once you do the first one and the second one, then you become hooked, because the whole idea behind this is that there are so many 1/25th scale bodies out there. In the 1/32nd area, now we have to go with digital printing and maybe some kits that have it. There's very few kits. I know there's a Corvette. I know there's a Thunderbird. I can't think of something else. A little Model T Ford. I mean, there's not too many. Now, when you go to the 1/25th scale, there's just a ton of them. I mean, there's Camaros, Mustangs, and you could go all over the board. And you could build yourself something you want to race on your own track. Doesn't mean you have to enter the Home Racing World. even though they have the beach racer that has its certain years of its rules. But if you could build something for yourself just as an enjoyment, like an old hot rod, I mean, you could look at like these Carrera ones. I got these Carrera hot rods. Well, these things are expensive now. This is dusty because I hardly use it. These are real expensive. These are very rare, hard to get. And you could make something like this yourself out of a scratch built car, out of a kit. It's not that hard. Yeah, the old modifieds are fun. That's why I started doing them also. Modifieds are a little bit more trickier to do. They're not hard. They just take a little bit more time because you're making little Nerf bars, and the brass that you use, it's easy to solder. You just got to make sure it's cool before you move it around. If you get yourself a nice silicone pad, like what I have in my videos, and you can get that from Amazon, those you could actually solder on that silicone pad. It won't do nothing to it because it's heat resistant. It's silicone, so you could sit there and solder Nerf bars on it, not needing that board. But if you do need that board, you would have to pin it, and you could do that also and make your own stuff. Another thing that I did do with that last modified build I did with that Pinto, I actually got the plastic chassis, and I basically copied the chassis out of brass. And you could do that also. That's kind of a guide when you buy those modifieds. Just copy the chassis. And then the way you bend those brass pieces, how Harry showed us on an article on the Dingus bar build, that's exactly what he did. You get a vise, you mark your spots, and you're going to mimic the angle of a chassis is what you're doing. And then the rest of it, the back of it, you put, either you want to use, piano wire or whatnot, or brass, it's up to you. And that's all I did with that one. I just copied the chassis. It's not hard. If you could sit there and take your time and duplicate the plastic chassis, you basically have a slot car. It's not a big deal. And I will probably do another video on that where you bend them and stuff. But yeah, hey, any idea helps, man. I mean, I just look at stuff and just try and copy it. That's all I do, and I just take my time. I mean, if you're gonna screw up, you're gonna screw up. And the thing about brass, if you screw up, you could always unsolder it. I mean, it's not the end of the world. And then it maybe, not look so great when you get it done, but you could clean it up with, some tools, with just like some cloth, some sandpaper. Once you paint the chassis, unless you want to polish it, which you can, once you paint the chassis, it looks pretty cool, but it's not too hard. Yes, sir. I think you should give it a try. I really do. It's something that nobody does anymore. That's what's so cool about it. It's a lost art. I think more guys need to do it because it brings in individualism and more of a how would you say? It shows your character. It shows the character of what you're building, and it's really cool. But exactly, nothing ventured, nothing gained. I just saw that. That's true. Slot cars, 132nd slot cars, AG. I don't know what that acronym's for. I'm assuming it's your name. Yeah, guys, I really think you should try it out. It's not that hard. I would watch those flock builds that Harry has put out. I keep saying Harry has put out, and copy that chassis if you want to do a beach racer for the first time. Enter a beach racer. I mean, shit, you guys have plenty of time. I got to the end of July. A chassis could be put together within a month, even at a beginner state and just learning. And again, you could message me and ask me for things, and if you need help, I don't have no problem doing that. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and cook some steaks. Let's see that. Ian, oh, pleasure to meet you, Ian. IAN, right? But AG is in memory of my dad. I got you. That was his initials. Well, salute to your father there. Fathers are important. Cool. But yeah, I'm going to go offline. But yeah, I suggest you guys build, man. It's not that hard, man. It really isn't. And once you do one, you can look at it over here. This over the span of 2 years, I think I've built like about 20 to 30 cars already. And now I need to get another case for them because they're all over the place, on top of the cases up here and on the shelf. And I mean, they're all over the place. So if you're going to build, you're going to need more shelving for them. I plan on probably selling some of these Carrera cars that I don't use. I want to keep the ones that my grandkids use, and just, because honestly, some of them I really don't use. There's some NSRs I don't really use, and some slotted. And I think I've gotten more into the scratch building than modifying newer factory cars. I mean, I don't know. I may go back with that because I would do that also. Harry had a lot of videos on, fixing your Carrera car to lower it and all that stuff. But I really enjoyed the scratch building more because there's more of an originality to it. Nothing against the factory cars. I mean, I haven't bought in the car. The last car I bought actually was a 124 scale Carrera one, which was the Ken Miles GT40, which I've always wanted because I got the other ones. And that's the only thing I bought within 2 years since I started doing this. I haven't bought any cars at all from like manufacturers. I've done more scratch building than buying manufacturer cars. But I mean, that's just me. I just enjoy doing that because I like the building process, and then the end results is what I like. Like this car right here, I was pretty happy how this came out, and it runs really well as you can see. But anyways, I'm gonna sign off. Let me see what you had. 2 modifieds from eBay made in the 60s. Oh, cool. And see, those would be really cool to build. I mean, if you got model kits from the 60s, keep the box art. Because if it's 60s box art, that stuff's like super cool because nobody does box art anymore, really. Not too much. Not how they used to make, like paintings out of matte and then put it on the box. Those are pretty cool. But yeah, you guys need any help or any advice, please let me know. I'll be able to give you what I can, and if I don't know something, I'll find out because I have a good reference book. That's Harry, man. I always ask him for advice on certain things because he's done it all. I mean, he's done it way before I started doing it because they didn't have any parts back then. But yeah, I like it. I'm hooked, so that's why I do it. As much as I can. But yeah, no problem. Pleasure to you guys. All right, guys, I'm going to sign off and cook dinner because I know my wife has been waiting. So I'm going to cook some steaks. You guys take care. And like I always say, have fun racing and see you later.